Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be how I made this tasty delicious okra soup recipe that went to Harvard and came back. So if this is something you're interested in, keep watching. So this recipe was inspired by Sisi Jemima here on YouTube, and y'all, I highly do recommend that you check out her channel. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So guys, the ingredients I'm gonna be using for this recipe is kale leaves, blended habanero pepper, blended onions, bouillon cubes, sliced onions, catfish, smoked catfish, and smoked bonga fillet. I also have my stock fish, I have my salt to taste, I have my crayfish, and I also have the bell pepper and habanero pepper. So guys, I also have the goat meat which I'll be using to cook this soup, and as well as normal beef, and I also have the oven roasted mackerel fish which I'll be using to cook this soup today. And guys, I also have the large shrimp which has already been deveined and cleaned, and frozen okra which I got the both of them from Stater Bros. However, this video is not sponsored by Stater Bros. So guys, I seasoned the meat with bouillon cubes, blended onions, salt, blended habanero pepper. I covered it, I stirred it, and then covered it to cook for about 10 minutes. At this point, I'm not going to add any water because I usually like my meat to get saturated with the ingredients. So I'm not going to add any water. I'll allow it to cook and simmer for about 10 minutes, and then I'll go ahead to debone my bonga fillet and catfish at this point while the meat is still boiling. I'll make sure I remove all the bone. This is really important, especially if you have kids. So after cooking the meat for about 10 minutes, I will now add water at this point, and then I will now add the fishes that I already washed. That's the stock fish, the bonga fish, and the catfish. I will add them at this point, cover it, and then I will cook it for about 15 minutes. So guys, I removed the seeds from the bell pepper, washed it along with the habanero pepper, and then I will blend it, adding a little bit of water. So I went ahead to blend it, adding a little bit of water. So I'll now go ahead and cut the okra to my desirable size. It's all up to you how you want your okra. If you want it crunchy, if you want it small size, it's just up to you. So I went ahead to cut the okra, and I blended some of the okra with the food processor. I added a little bit of water to it. This is just to give the okra soup much more of this slimy feeling or slimy taste. If you want it more drawy, you do this. However, if you do not want it, you just do what you prefer. I love my okra soup very slimy, not much slimy though. I actually use a little bit of this okra puree in this soup, so you just do what you prefer. And then I also went ahead to cut the kale leaves. I actually used a little bit of kale for this soup. Just do what you prefer. If you want kale, if you don't want any leaf at all, just do you. So yeah, I used a little bit of kale leaf for this soup. So guys, I went ahead to heat up the pot, and I poured my palm oil and heat my palm oil for a few minutes, and then added my onions, stirred it, and I also added my crayfish, and I stirred it and fried it for less than a minute. Make sure you don't fry for more than a minute. And also I went ahead to add the pepper mixture of the bell pepper and habanero pepper I blended earlier. So I stirred it, and then I went ahead to add my bouillon cubes, and I also added salt to taste, and I stirred it. I covered it up and then allowed to cook for about 5 minutes. So I added my meat broth or meat stock at this point, and I allowed it to cook for about 8 to 10 minutes. And thereafter I added my fishes, my stockfish, my bonga fillet, and my catfish. I did not add the mackerel fish at this point because I didn't want it to get pieces into the fish, so I didn't add it at this point. So I just added the fishes and the meat and cooked for about 7 minutes thereabouts. So guys, at this point I added my oven roasted mackerel fish. I just stirred it and allowed it to cook for just a few minutes. I covered it and allowed it to cook for a few minutes. So guys, I went ahead to add the okra and I stirred it all together. I also added part of the okra puree. I just used a little bit of it to give it that extra sliminess or drawy, to make it drawy. So I stirred it all together. At this point I used just a little bit of the okra puree. You do not have to use it if you don't like your okra soup too drawy. So just a little bit of it, and I mix it and stir it all together. So guys, I went ahead to add the kale leaves. I only used a little bit of it. I stirred it all together. I'm sorry guys, for some reason I didn't know that my camera wasn't positioned well, so it was just half of the pot that I was showing. So I stirred the kale leaves and everything all together. I also went ahead to add my large shrimp and allowed to cook for less than 5 minutes. You do not want to cook this for more than 5 minutes, especially when you've added your vegetable, because you're not going to get any nutritional benefit from it. So make sure after you add the vegetable you don't cook for more than 5 minutes. And here is our tasty, delicious okra soup, all good and ready to go. Okra soup that went to Harvard. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Bye.